9 common errors when using slides in your courses. Welcome to this video. My name is Max Quiroz from Max and Ruth Training. I still remember back in 1991 when we started using PowerPoint to teach courses in training and in high school and undergraduate courses, and you had to use an interface that you connected to the computer, and then you put it on an overhead projector, and through that you could use PowerPoint, or what PowerPoint was the only application that we had in that time that we could use to project our slides in the classroom. Now, fast forward a couple of years from then, and at the Virtual University of Monterrey Tech, we spent thousands of dollars buying a computer card so that we could interface a computer with television, so that we could use slides and PowerPoint presentations in satellite delivered courses. And you don't know, but from that time, from 1990, when we started using PowerPoint until today, many errors have been dragged from that time. And today we're going to talk about 9 common errors when using slides in your courses. Some things that you shouldn't do, So let's talk about error number 1. Error number 1 is a direct heritage from those times, because we tend to fill the slides with text. And this is because when we started using overhead projectors, it was very expensive to use those overheads. So we tended to put as much information as possible in those overheads. And many times we used erasable markers so that we could use them again and again and again. And then after some times, from so much erasing, they looked horrible. Then we started printing them using laser printers. And there was something amazing because you could do very professional looking overhead slides, but we still fill them with lots of text and lots of information because they were expensive. And that has been carried on to our days. Whenever we make a slide or prepare some slides in PowerPoint, Prezi, or Google Slides, whatever presentation app you're using, many people tend to fill it up with text and lots of information. That's a no-no. Please avoid doing that. Whenever I talk about this next error, I always go back to the time when I was teaching high school and then undergraduate, and students started using PowerPoint and Google Slides and many other applications. Well, basically it was PowerPoint at that time, to make their presentations, their classroom or class presentations. And it was so new, and they thought it was so wonderful that they included all the available transitions between slides and all the available animations when building a slide. And you know what? They looked terrible. And they still do look terrible. So please avoid using transitions. Use a direct cut, as the television producer said. No transitions are necessary when you're making a professional training presentation. And this applies to online or face-to-face situations. Avoid using transitions and avoid using animations. Sometimes we need them, but use them as little as possible. Avoid them as much as possible so that you don't tire. Sometimes there was this animation where it looked like if somebody was writing on a typewriter and even the sound was present. Avoid that, please. We're professionals. We don't use transitions and animations unless they are badly needed in our presentation. Another error, very common error, is using different fonts and colors in the same slide. In this slide we see blue, brown, purple, violet, green, red, orange, lots of colors here. And at least it's only one type of font, but there's slides when they mix colors and they mix different types of fonts. Try to use at the most 2 fonts and 1 or 2 contrasting colors, not more than that. Please pay attention to this. It demerits your presentation. If you have something that looks like a catalog of fonts, try to avoid that. And also take care on which colors you use during your whole presentation. Use 1 or 2 contrasting colors, a dark background or a light background with a dark font, or a dark background with a light font, contrasting colors, so that you really make an impact on your audience. Be careful with this. Next error, and I still remember that course. We went to a training course, and the trainer, supposedly he was a very knowledgeable person and was very professional. He puts up, projects first slide, turns around and says, "Here it says that," and started reading from the slides. That's something that it's a terrible mistake. Do not read your slides. If you need lots of text and if you need the participants to read a text, make a handout and have them read it beforehand or after the presentation. What happens here is if there's lots of text on the slide and you start reading, there's 2 communication channels that are competing for the attention of the participant. Visual channel and auditory channel. And since both are very powerful and dominant channels in our communication styles, it's a conflict there. And it's difficult to pay attention to one or to the other. So people don't really understand what you're saying. So avoid reading from your slides. It's very important that you avoid this. That's a big mistake. And this is another one that's something that we inherited from those times when we did overhead projections and slides on this overhead slides, plastic slides. And since they were so expensive, we tended to include lots of information in them, as much as possible, because there was not a lot of those slides available. So what we did, we included as much information as possible, and people didn't understand. So avoid using complex graphics when you're presenting. Here we're using a projection, direct projection from the computer into your screen, but it's still a very complex graphic and it's hard to understand. So please avoid using complex graphic, and many times those complex graphics are totally unnecessary. So if you explain, try to use simple graphs, simple images, so that the participant can easily understand them. If you haven't done so, please subscribe to our channel. Click on the button, on the subscribe button, and if you like the content of this video or any other of our videos, give it a thumbs up. Share it with people that you think might use it, might find it useful, and activate the notification bell so that you know whenever we upload a new video into our channel. Do it right now. And going back to those mistakes that we make, or that many presenters make, one of the biggest is using inadequate templates. Most of the applications that we use today, Prezi, PowerPoint, Google Slides, and many others, Canva, are focused on text. They include lots of text, and sometimes those are the default templates. Try to see if the template is the best template for the type of information that you will be using, that you will be delivering. So try to avoid using text-only templates that don't have good contrast. See if you can modify, if you can use your corporate or your brand colors so that you can transmit a very powerful message. Don't use default templates. Try to look for the best template for the content that you will be delivering in your course using those applications. So look for the best, and there's plenty of options available, from free options to paid options. You can look for different templates that are optimized for different objectives. So don't settle for the default presentation templates. Try to look for the best ones for your content. Another error, and we saw this about a year ago when we were in a training course, the presenter wanted to show a video, wanted us to watch a video. So he hadn't loaded the video inside his presentation software. So he had to go out, look for the video on his hard drive, and then play it from outside the presentation. And you know what happened then? He lost the attention of most of the classroom, of most of the participants. Nowadays, and that happened because a few years ago, the presentation software wasn't as powerful as it is today. And you couldn't include videos, music, graphics, and many other things. Today, you can include everything in your presentation software. So there's no excuse for you to having to go out of your presentation software, losing the attention of your participants, and then showing some other kind of media. As a matter of fact, there's applications where you can show a video, do surveys, have the participants interact with your presentation through their phone. There's lots of things that you can do, and everything can be done from inside your presentation software. So avoid this mistake. It's very common to see this in starting presenters and starting trainers when they want to use an image that they copy from another place and they paste it onto their presentations. The image is pasted with a white background, and you immediately know that this was a copy or cut and paste operation. Avoid doing this. If you need to do it, the presentation software today allows you to eliminate, to remove that white background. Learn how to do it. Or else use transparent background images so that you can paste them anywhere in your presentation and they don't look like a copy and paste operation and they look terrible. So because that way everybody knows that you copied something or that information from someplace else and you're including it in your presentation. It demerits your presentation. Please avoid this error. And the last but not least mistake that is very common is you have to make sure that everybody will be able to see the information that you include in your slides. And this applies, all the mistakes that we've talked about apply to online and face-to-face courses. Maybe this is more of a face-to-face situation because sometimes we use very small fonts, non-contrast colors. So if you are in the back of the room, it will be very hard for you to see what the slide contains. So our advice to you is whenever you are in a face-to-face context and you need to present and it's a big room, go to the back of the room before your course starts and project some slides and see if you can read everything, if you can see all the information that you've included in your slides. If you can do it, perfect, you're set to go. If not, you have time to adjust the size of the font, the information, so that it doesn't look like this picture that you're seeing here. So those are the most common, or 9 common mistakes that many presenters still do whenever using slides for their courses or presentations. So avoid them. And if you want to learn how to use your visual aids, your slides, so that you can maximize the impact of your presentation and courses, and by consequence, maximize your profits, go to the URL that you're seeing on the screen or that is in the description of this video. Click on it, and we have an option for you where you can learn how to multiply the impact of your courses and your income from those courses. We really hope that this video has been helpful for you. See you in the next one. Have a great day.